Everyone, the function for is the inferior, we tend to ignore it and don't value it. Like the third, this function is both aspirational and fear. We have a hidden desire to be better at it, and it is also uncomfortable. We can both love it and hate it. We may like it or not, depending on the situation. We may have a fascination for it. This function is not our priority. We don't feel responsible for it. We would rather someone else do it. We need to be more concentrated on it, to pay more attention to this function, to grasp all information. We have tendency to miss a part of this information. We can make mistake or error with this function. We can be clumsy with it. This function has low capacity, its use is limited, and is highly draining and stressful. We are easily overwhelmed by it and struggle with it. It creates us worries and problems in life. When we stress, we may abuse this function and overuse it. This function needs a lot of time to recharge or rest. This function can be stressful and overwhelming. I would say the lower a function is in our function stack, the more we have tendency to make mistakes and use it the wrong way. Higher a function is in our stack, higher is the efficiency and accuracy. But I think it is a little more complex, knowing that our best functions are the 1 and 6, the flow, then 2 and 5, the aspirational, then the 3 and 8, the comfort, and last the 4 and 7, the stress. From my experience and observation, the function 4 and 7 are those we wish we make the most mistake and the most often. When we are immature, when all the functions are not well developed or learned, we make mistakes with our function 1 because we don't consider the other function, in particular the 4, its opposite, which directly function with. When we replace ignore the function 4, we can make mistakes with the function 4 and also the function 1 because they function together. For function 4, we have tendency to miss information of this category every day. We have tendency to ignore it. We need more concentration, energy, focus on this function, on this type of information, to not miss information, to not make mistakes. When we are more aware and more connected to ourselves, we have less issues in life related to this function. I will share you some example mistakes the different psychological types can do with their function 4. We think we are good at our function 4, whereas we aren't when we ignore it. However, we can be great at it when we focus on it. For ISE, your NI is wrong. You may make wrong connection, association, correspondence, have the wrong meaning, conclusion, interpretation. It is not because someone waits and wants to talk to someone else that they are together. It is not because someone mentioned a city that they will live to this city. They may mention it just because they work at this place in the past. Something that appears more beautiful and expensive doesn't mean this thing is better. You may think someone is reliable, whereas they are not, or you think someone is not reliable, whereas they are trustworthy and authentic. You may think a trait corresponds to a psychological type related to a function, whereas it is more complex and could be related to another system, such as Enneagram, human design, or psychology, neurology, or related to something we don't know or overlap. You may think you know what is the reality, whereas you don't. You miss the spiritual, etheric layer of the reality that include in part the dream and the unconscious. The reality and our psyche have many layers. You make lack of intuition, detection of the unseen, lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. For ISI, your NE is wrong, you may imagine wrong, and you don't have the knowledge. Someone who walks behind you is not necessarily someone who wants to rob, hurt, or kill you. It is only your fear, your paranoia. It is not because someone never did a certain job in the past that they are not competent for this job. They are people who are self-taught, who can learn everything faster by themselves and learn by doing, who don't need formation or diploma to have the skill. It is not because your child did something once that they will do it again in the present and future. It is not because you did something once that other people will copy or imitate you and will do the same in the present and future. The other minds, your children, are not a copy of you. We are all unique and function differently. You think someone did something a certain way or the same way as you, whereas they didn't, they did it in a different way. You may have the wrong idea, image in mind of what really are certain things, you imagine wrong, you lack of knowledge, your memories may be wrong, are never intact, you imagine the wrong scenarios because you think things always happen the exact same way, whereas not, things often happen differently, they are nuances. Without the intuition or NE, the scenario in your mind or filmographic memory, your memories are not the best, may be deformed. Sometimes you think you know, whereas you don't, you have not collected enough information or knowledge, or you think you don't know, whereas you know, information have been shown or tell you many times in the past, but you preferred not to see it. Everything is in the unconscious, you just need to reconnect the dots to use your intuition. For NE, your SI is wrong, you might don't respect the schedule, procedures, routines, rules, tradition. You park your car the wrong way on the wrong place, you run a red light, and it's been 2 months since you opened your mailbox which contains the fines, the police report. Your tiramisu looks strange, you think you failed your recipe because maybe you missed a step, but it is okay because it was delicious. You were so impatient to do the next thing that you forgot to pay for your drink at the bar. You may be late, you may be early, you skipped a meal, you forgot to take a shower or to sleep, you forgot to fill out your tax return or forgot to wish a family member a happy birthday or the new year. For NI, your SE is wrong, your time and spatial awareness may be wrong, your perception of detail in the present is wrong. You may have seen or heard something, but you are not sure if you saw, read or heard it correctly. You did something, it is done, and later you are not sure if you did it or not, or you haven't done the thing, and in your mind it is already accomplished. You skip a line in your script, you didn't say it, or a complete paragraph. You may say things twice or 3 times because you are not sure if you already said it or to be sure people understand and don't forget it. You didn't watch the detail in the space around you that you trip on the stairs. You may be bad to evaluate the distances in the space. Something is closer or further than you think. You can think you have worked for 20 minutes and in reality 2 hours have passed. You think you have dreamed for 1 hour, in reality only 5 minutes have passed. For FE, your TI is wrong, you might say or believe wrong thing, your logic is wrong, your calculations are wrong, you may forget certain numbers, mathematics are not your strength. You may think something is broken and doesn't work anymore and you want to replace it, whereas the mechanism inside can be repaired, things can be rearranged. Or you may think something functions correctly, whereas it doesn't. You think the thing needs to be fixed, that there is work to be done, when there is no need. You can believe what people say is true, whereas they lie to you, or you think people lie when they tell you the truth, what is correct. You think you say things that are correct or true, whereas you say wrong thing, myth, and you lie. By always being nice and people-pleasing, you are not authentic, fake, not true, and not aligned with yourself. You lie to yourself and others. For FI, UTE is wrong. You might use things and do things the wrong way or incorrectly. You put the battery in the remote control in the wrong direction. You may think something functions in a certain way, whereas it functions differently. You may use the wrong tool or fix things badly, repair things badly or half. You think you know how something works, whereas you don't. The system can be different, or the reverse. You think you don't know how a system works, whereas you know. You think you don't know how to do things, that you are unable, incompetent, whereas you have the potential, you can do it and create anything you want. You may simply use the wrong system or device. The fact you spread may be wrong because you have not searched enough on internet, books, or asked to other individuals, or you may struggle to explain. For TE, your FI is wrong, your feeling may be wrong. You may think you still love someone, whereas it's months you don't love them anymore, or the reverse, you think you don't like someone, whereas you love them. You may think you are a bad person, whereas it is not the case. You may devalue yourself or evaluate yourself, underestimate or overestimate yourself. You may have wrong morals, do immorals or unfair things. You may think something is good or correspond to you, whereas it is not suited for your well-being, personal condition and functioning. You may think you know yourself well, whereas you don't, or the reverse, you think you don't know yourself, whereas you know pretty well many systems about personality and functioning. For TI, your FE is wrong. Your notion of what is good, bad, and perception of relation between people may be wrong. You think people don't like what you do for them, whereas they like the gift you offer. You think you are sociable, whereas you are not, you don't want to talk. You think someone is mad at you or love you, whereas they aren't, or that someone don't like you, whereas they love you. You may have seen two individuals together thinking they are lovers, whereas they could just be friends or siblings. You may think something is good or bad, whereas it's not, or that someone is a good person, whereas they aren't. They lie or manipulate you to have you on their side. You may think you have bad social behavior, whereas you were perfect. And because the function 4 functions mainly with the function 1, if someone neglects too much their function 4, the inferior, their dominant function can also be used the wrong way or badly. They are unbalanced, immature, irresponsible, even insane, and they seem to embody only their dominant function, but this will be for a next video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.